Hello everyone, I'm Keen47, aka Wolfkeen, and welcome to the Wolf Podcast, where we'll be talking about the 14th episode of Persona 5 The Animation, What Life Do You Choose? With me today is...
Hello everyone, I am D. Mikami System.3000.
Hey everyone, this is FlOrangey.
Hey everyone, this is Mario Family 15, aka that guy who I think Nelson can agree with me on this, but fuck sickness.
Yeah, fuck sickness, cause me and Zachary unfortunately got sick before all this, which is why if either him or me cough in this episode, bear with it, cause we're still like on the tail end of our sicknesses.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny how me and you get sick literally almost at the exact same time.
Yeah, but we're doing better now before anyone asks. Anyways, before we get things started, any kind of comparisons that we make to the game and animation are purely done for analytical reasons. And to give a quick synopsis of the episode...
Wait. Do we really need to go over a synopsis? I'm pretty sure the episode did its own little recap of the whole
Well, it's for what?
series.
It's for one reason. This episode has committed the cardinal sin that many shows and otherwise should not commit. It made the sin of making a recap episode.
Or as I like to call it, a clip show.
Exactly, because I've said this so many times to people, recap and clip show episodes are rarely done well, and this episode was a great example. There's literally recapping events from the previous palaces, reminding us who these people are. It's like, this is Panther, and her persona is Carmen, and it's like, and not to mention, just they crunch this together with Makoto's story. It's... Oh, my...
Hey, Cole. School.
School.
Anyways, Dean, give your thoughts.
Okay,
And now basically Makoto's story was like for only 5 minutes.
and those were the best 5 minutes of the entire episode. How about that? Okay. Alright, I remember when I watched this episode and I was just drop dead surprised by how much that they were really going over, especially in how a bunch of folks are basically recapping on their past experiences, and I'm like, oh god, this is where it's going, where I think it's going, isn't it? And turns out I was right. The thing was basically a recap episode, and I would be fine with it if they were to do it a bit cleverly. They didn't do it a bit cleverly.
No,
So-
they didn't
Sounds
do it.
like Mishima heard from Oya. Speaking of which, let's recap in detail exactly everything we did that led up to that moment and afterwards.
And the sad part is there are some shows that do the clip show idea really well. Look at Avatar: The Last Airbender with the Ember Island players. That
Yeah, and that's a
Yeah.
clever example.
yeah, it's
Like,
exaggerated.
Even Legend of Korra had a more traditional recap episode, but at least they had fun with it. Though,
Yeah,
and then there was Etta and Eddie that just made fun of the concept altogether.
No more remembering. But that's exactly what I mean. It's like when you have like clip show episodes, that's like I just want them to either creatively do it in a way that actually is like some good fan nods or something that's actually really fun about it, instead of just, straightforward telling people on what it's supposed to be. This thing just did that. It just told us, oh, this is what we did it. And they didn't even work it in very well. It's especially just like Yusuke sitting at LeBlanc being like, I was just remembering about Madarame. Remember that time that we stole his heart and became a good person and all that?
It's like
And I
that
was
line. That line was so misplaced. It should have been placed during his confidant scene, not after.
Yeah, that's like, what is it, rank 7 of his confidant, where he basically remembered Madarame and how well he treated him as his kid?
Yeah, exactly.
Yusuke is probably like the worst example in this episode.
It just felt weird that he was doing that. It's like he was doing that, like, okay, the way that he was positioned in LeBlanc is like, he's like in a bar just remembering about the good old days.
See, I could
Remember
ma-
that time that we stole Madarame's heart? It's like, dude, that was last month and I was there.
Dude, I can maybe understand this if this was an out of order story, like that kind of reminiscent, like maybe like this was before his confidency, but no, this is a story that goes on a linear path. So him saying this now, after he reached the conclusion that he did, it's just super disjointed.
Why, yes, I already knew this happened. Thanks for telling me this. Get me up to speed.
Well, okay, Sai trying to... Okay, what's weird about this is the fact that Sai is basically recapping while Red is recapping himself.
Exactly.
Who's recapping of a recap? Who recaps themselves?
Exactly. I could see maybe Sai
of a recap with recaps. Oh
Here's the
god.
thing.
We need to go deeper.
Here's the thing. I could see a recap episode being done of Sai recapping things, because then it would lead to that conclusion at the very end where Sai is starting to believe that this guy might be telling the truth.
Yeah, and they even open with that, and I think it's around this point that you get the judgment confidant, which makes sense, because it's basically her trying to make sense of the whole thing because of just how much of a bonkers story this is.
Yeah, but even she says it, there's only two, like, why would anyone create such an elaborate story just to throw the blame off of them?
Seriously. So, the whole idea of them doing a recap thing, especially, I get that we're kind of at the halfway point of this show, especially within the game, but you already are recapping the thing with Sai. You could have easily have done it in a way that would have made sense to her, as well as just trying to make a creative synopsis. Don't tie that in with another story element.
I hate to be that guy, and no worries, I won't go into too much information, but this kind of an idea, a recap episode idea, could have been far better done. Like, I can pretty much say it because it could have been done around the after freaking Joker got first arrested. This isn't a spoiler. This isn't a spoiler or anything, because Sai is literally, like, listening to his story as it's going along. And it's like, you know, like, after all that is, like, you know, after we actually make it up to the point where Joker gets arrested and we catch up, that would have been a perfect time to do a recap.
Yeah, not halfway into it like this.
No.
But
it's especially bad. Well, Makoto's just like, hey, remember this thing that happened? With like the first scene.
I know, right? And also, wow, I have to let Dean finish. Like, Dean, do you have anything left to say?
no, and I don't want to steal anyone else's thunder because I don't want to, you know, go on and on about this. So I could pass it on. Actually,
Cole, what do you have anything to say on this?
Oh boy, this episode reused a lot of animation, even in the intro.
Yeah, the new intro that they had was not very good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like,
If I could just talk about this real quick.
hey, it's my turn though.
Okay.
It's my turn.
Okay.
Let her have her fun.
Okay. I have, like, unlike most of the time I've been doing this podcast, I have, like, no notes, simply because every time I I try to write something down, I'm just like, recap episode, recap. I mean, there is some stuff in here, though, that I do like, so I might as well start with that. Let's see. Wow. I literally just drew a blank.
good things. Yeah, there aren't any.
Okay, there is one. Well, there is one, arguably two. And it's actually all in Shinjuku, actually. Mishima's encounter with Oya was, for me, utterly hilarious.
It was.
Yeah, I laughed out loud.
And especially when he was trying to message Red, and Red just turns off his phone.
Oh, and while this is going on, Ren is watching, like, that Western romance parody, and Morgana's like, wow, these Western teenagers have way more going for them than we do.
But the weird thing about
but actually, some of the stuff that was, like, added, I genuinely enjoyed. And we also got the change of heart with the Yandere girl, which was kind of a weird conclusion, but okay.
Yeah. Even after she has a change of heart, she still has that creepy face.
Well, it's because she's fucking nervous as all hell around this guy.
Yeah, that's kind of her.
I just love how she's, like, stuttering and stuff like that, and he's sort of like, I have no idea what you're saying, but why don't we be friends?
Yeah, that's how this works, right?
Oh my god.
But
But it's like, it's like outside of the stuff with Makoto's confidant, everything is just so like, this is probably the episode where they realized, oh, we don't have enough money to make 24 episodes, so let's just half-ass it or something. But the thing that pisses me off is that there's a perfect opportunity later down the line to do some kind of recap episode. I'm not going to say what it is because it's spoilers. And they could have used this for something else, like having Makoto and An's confidant, because we already got a couple of hints of that going on here.
Yeah, especially in the episode itself when Ren and An are briefly talking to each other.
They could have linked this with Chihaya.
Yeah, exactly, because we have some stuff with Chihaya in this episode.
Like literally, like we get a glimpse of some of the stuff that she does with like Aiko and Tsukasa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of that guy, that rape face he makes.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Wait,
Yeah.
rape face, with...
The creepy smile.
The creepy
Yeah.
Or as I like to call it, the shepherd face.
Shepherd.
Yeah, when he sees Makoto's picture for the first time.
And I love how I do kind of get a laugh how Ren was trying to buy some kind of a necklace or something.
And I did like how when they, well, first off, I like Aiko's voice. It's actually not kind of what I expected, but also kind of nice too. But I liked how she just keeps going on and on, talking, and then leaving, and both Makoto and Ren are just stunned silent.
Yeah, they just can't keep up with someone like her.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's like, wow, I had more good things to say than I thought that I did. But I still hate this episode just because it's a recap episode. And it's like, you don't put a recap like this on top of on top of this kind of, some of the story stuff that we have with, like, Makoto and all that.
Pretty much. And this is kind of one of the many issues with the episode. It's like, while there are some snippets of good things, which I do admit, it's just completely steamrolled by the fact that not only is this a clip show, but it's a very boring clip show.
Yeah, it is. It's not very well written.
It's not, and I'd argue Makoto's confidency was actually not well done either.
I can agree with that, because, like, I'll say this, even though Makoto's my, I think, second favorite girl in Persona 5, her confidant is not my favorite. There's definitely better ones out there. And it really didn't feel, and I think outside of giving Aiko a little bit more, sort of off-screen development, it didn't really do anything different.
The only thing it really added was what Makoto wanted to do at their high school.
And
no, that was in the Confidant.
That was in the Confidant.
In fact, actually, they made her go a step downward in the anime. Because in the anime, she said she wanted to be a police officer. In the game, she wanted to be a police commissioner. She wanted to be at the top of the ladder.
And
they never mentioned that for some reason.
As well, the addition that they added was literally Aiko showing off her Buchimaru collection.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, she took a picture and even literally said to Makoto that next time they see each other, she's got to show it to her personally.
Yeah. Like, there is one change after the whole reveal with Tsukasa is let out that I do like, but we'll save that for later.
Yeah, so, Zachary, what are your thoughts about the episode?
Okay. Okay. First, to start things off, continuing the tradition of like parodying things because they can't use the product name. At the very beginning of the episode, when you see Akechi in the car, one of the buildings is called Burger Queen.
Oh, right, I remember that.
Wow.
Burger Queen.
So we've got Mata, Burger Queen. Yes.
I don't want to know the Burger Queen mascot, if it's anything like the Burger King.
Oh, and the mascot is just Johanna.
Oh, what?
It's Johanna.
Johanna, you mean, but yeah.
Yo.
Oh, fuck off.
But the other thing I want to say, okay, I want to say something about the intro. The song itself is fine. It's like, all right, this is a fine song, but when compared to like the other, new song is called Dark Sun. But when compared to the other intro song, Break In to Break Out, man, this song just does not compare.
No, Break In to Break
no.
Out gets you pumped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I freaking love Break In to Break Out, especially listening to the full version, which got recently released.
Yeah, and speaking of like like using clips and whatever, and there's one thing I absolutely hate that TV shows do. It's that when their intros, most of the intro is basically clips from the show itself, and this intro was that where most of the intro was clips from the show, which to me speaks like laziness.
Yeah, because the intro itself for Break In to Break Out uses original stuff for the most part.
Yeah.
It took until episode 4 to get there, but it did.
Yeah, because the first time they actually used the song, it was just clips from the anime, the first episod even.
No,
And
second.
some of the trailer.
I also just realized that this episode actually spoils partially spoils the game's big twist with Akechi.
Oh.
Was
At the beginning.
is that considered a spoiler? Like, should that have been said?
I'm not.
Like, I'm struggling if I should censor that or not.
Just edit it out.
God damn it, Cole.
Sorry.
Question mark.
This is what happens when I don't take notes. I'm literally thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like
Okay, fine. Just scrub that from the board. But I just scrub that from the board. Forget I said anything.
No, but we can say that. Like, we can say that at least the very beginning, it's like does like kind of like. Well, actually, I think we can leave it because it is said like in an earlier episode that Akechi is trying to find the Phantom Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of scene kind
Oh
of.
yeah, I actually forgot. I don't know why, but I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, so like it is said. So this scene kind of says that what he actually found them.
Mm-hmm.
So we just don't know where it goes from there. That's it. We're kind of confused on that point.
It still kind of pisses me off though.
Yeah, overall, the new intro not nearly as good as like the last one. But there's one good thing about I will say about this episode. They do kind of foreshadow the next Palace arc.
They do a little, but I really can't say much because it's very small. Like if you didn't play the game, then you wouldn't notice it. So I don't think we should say anything.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I will say one thing. I miss Game Sojiro. Can we have Game Sojiro back?
Yeah, what the hell? It's like we are not even hearing anything about Sojiro, and I don't think they went over anything about his confidant up to this point.
No, they haven't, and it's stupid.
Yeah, like they did the starting point with him starting to help in the cafe, but that's it.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
and after that, he barely like interacts with any of the Phantom Thieves or Ren for that matter.
But
The only real extent of that was episode 8, but that was pretty much it.
actually, we can't say this because we see a mysterious person apparently listening in on something, and we also see the card, which is Medjed, which it does hint at the next target, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One thing I want to say, you can like, call this, nitpicking if you want to. Even though I love the scene with like Mishima and Oya, there is one thing I noticed, in like one shot you see him like turn around with his hands on the door, and immediately in the next shot he's like clutching his fist. I'm just like wait, he was literally just holding his hands on his door, and suddenly he's clutching his fist now.
Yeah, well, no, that's not a bad thing, because you can imagine, like, at the moment, he's just standing there stunned, and then next moment, he's just like, I'm gonna get you, Ren.
Yeah, that was one of the shit I really liked. I totally relate to this in real life, but when Koa said, it's July and it's humid outside, I'm just like, you're telling me it's hot outside right now.
And it's only gonna get worse when we go to Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, what was the other thing I want to say? Right. When we get to the parts where Makoto partially tells Ren about her father, she's like, I'm gonna tell you about tell you about my father, and Ren's just like, that really happened, and then she goes on to repeat herself. Well, I imagine she literally just told Ren.
Exactly. It's so that was so horribly written.
And just like, Makoto, why are you telling this to him again? You literally just told him what happened.
Exactly. They should just let her explain. My God.
Yeah, they should just let her explain and then have him say, did that really happen?
Anyways.
This anime is officially one of the most inconsistently written animes I have ever watched.
Who are you telling? Anyways.
At times it's good, and at
I
times
am telling
it
you guys.
Anyway, Zachary, is there anything else you want to add? Because there are a few things I want to say.
I'm looking through my notes. No, nothing else I want to add.
Anyways, on to me when it comes to my general thoughts. I actually despise clip shows. I hate when shows do clip shows because a lot of the time it comes off as lazy and unnecessary. I can maybe see it being done during like the beginning of a new season, but not halfway through a 24 episode series. Like, no, that is beyond fucking stupid in almost every way possible.
I can imagine this for like a show like, or for like a long running show like like One Piece or what have you, but not for something as short as this.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the thing is about something like this is that I can kind of understand it for being a 24 episode anime. They want to add this like within the 14th episode because it's like, it's halfway into it. Maybe we need to do a little bit of a recap. But that's like if you take a break.
Yeah, exactly. If there was a mid-season hiatus.
Yeah, if there was something like that, then I would totally understand something like this. But if it's like immediately after like next week's episode, I'm just like, yeah, we know most of this stuff. Can we move on, please?
The worst part is that it's like, even if they wanted to do a recap, they could easily have just done it in like 5 minutes because Sai's in the interrogation room, and she could be like, okay, let me see if I understand what's going on so far.
Yeah, like she does the retelling, which makes sense. She's listening to Ren's story, and it's a pretty hefty one too.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense for her to do it, not the freaking Phantom Thieves to do it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And going along with that, the fact that the clip show got saddled along with Makoto's confidency, I'm going to say this right now, this is one of the worst. And the reason why I say that is because certain scenes that kind of added more impact, or, like additions that could have added more impact to the story, are gone. Like, for instance, the first time Aiko literally breaks off from Makoto because Makoto is trying to show concern to Aiko. That's gone. Mm-hmm. Instead, the first time that ever happens is when Makoto is researching Tsukasa to figure out what's going on, and then when she gets the information, she goes to Aiko, and then Aiko just goes completely against Makoto, unwarranted.
Mm-hmm.
See, first time I can understand Aiko going against Makoto because she's got no evidence. She's literally just going off of a feeling, and then Aiko kind of feels like she's just like being overprotective and doesn't know any better.
Didn't you track how long the episode actually spent on Makoto's confidant, Nelson?
Not really, but it roughly around 5 to 6 minutes.
Ugh.
Yeah, which is
and another,
I'm just like, geez, you could have covered all this stuff if this wasn't a recap episode.
And another thing, they could have added a lot more, like when Makoto slaps Aiko. This is an anime. You could add more emotion to that. Like, literally, they could have easily had Makoto looking annoyed while, like, Aiko was hopelessly defending herself. Maybe even showing her clenching her fist, and then just go up and slap her. They could have added more to make the scene more powerful. Instead, I felt like the emotion wasn't there. I felt like the impact wasn't there. It's like, and also Tsukasa was too obviously like a bad person. Like, they made him too obvious that he was doing this for ulterior motives. That's another thing. It's like, I feel like in the game, yeah, you kind of had a bad feeling about him, but there was nothing really giving you too much of a, like, a bad vibe from him.
Hey, Nelson, we're still in general thoughts.
Yeah, I know, but you know what?
Yeah, these are general thoughts.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say,
Okay.
Zachary. I'm not really comparing differences and otherwise. I'm just talking about like how they could have done Tsukasa's character, but they didn't do it. It's like this entire episode it fucked up Makoto's confidency. It is terrible as a clip show, and some of the other stuff that is completely irrelevant to the entirety of the episode just feels like it was slapped in there to be like, there, 22 minutes, we're done.
Yeah,
It's let's just wash our hands of this.
which is dumb because it's basically considers like, oh yeah, Makoto's confidant. Yeah, we'll just add it in there. No, why not? It's an afterthought. That's exactly what it is.
Let's put second most story relevant girl into the series in a clip show episode.
Yeah,
That'll do
and
it,
the most
because,
popular, one of the most popular characters in Persona 5.
It would have
Put
worked.
that in there.
The sad part is it would have worked better with a character like Morgana or even Igor.
Yeah, because they're the story-driven ones, and they would make the most sense. Not someone's entire backstory put in there.
Exactly, and
This episode has just so many missed opportunities.
ways it could have been fixed so easily, which. Yeah, now that brings us to the comparisons and differences, and I'm just going to say this right now, there really fucking isn't any!
There's only one, and it's the only thing that I like, and that is that Tsukasa's a Mementos target at the end.
Yeah.
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 And that was awesome. It doesn't save the episode at all.
It
It doesn't
doesn't.
save the episode, but it was there.
It was there, it was cool, but that's about it. Everything else is straight. Makoto's confidency, while it's missing some important scenes, is straight. The only new thing that they added was literally, actually seeing a picture of Aiko's Buchimaru collection.
Which, what does that really add?
It just goes to show, I guess it just shows that Aiko and Makoto are becoming friends. It's just, that's it though. We kind of got that idea in the game already, so it's like...
I just realized something horrible.
Wait, what?
Like, we don't get a whole lot of... They could have used the anime as an opportunity to flesh out Aiko's friendship with Makoto, and then we have the big bomb drop or something halfway through it, and they didn't even bother to do that.
No.
So goddamn Akechi gets his own fleshed out episode.
That was the thing. It's like, the thing is about, like, Makoto's confidant, and I believe, I think you mentioned this, Cole, that it probably wasn't, like, the best confidant out of the whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's the thing. It's like, I could have hoped that they would have built up upon that, because the thing is about Makoto's confidant is that most of it is just built around, like, her and Eiko's relationship, as well as kind of getting to know...
the world, basically.
Yeah, kind of basically that, yeah. But they kind of skimmed over Makoto trying to learn more about the world and just more an emphasis on Eiko. Aiko or Eiko? Which one is it?
I think it's Eiko.
I think it's Eiko.
Yeah. Okay. Instead of just, like, focusing on Eiko. They could have, like, done, especially expanded a bit more in the anime where maybe the Ren and Makoto would have spent more time together within this episode and probably would have actually had some chances to talk, or probably reminisce, because, well, she wasn't there in, like, the areas of, dealing with Madarame and the other, where you could probably have him, like, kind of explain to give Makoto, like, some decent backstory on their perspective. That could be something interesting to work in the whole recap idea, but
no.
I'm pissed that the anime changed her goal to being much more low bar than it actually is in the game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a police officer. Okay, Chie Satonaka is a bit right down the street. I think you can go ask her about that.
Yeah, because remember, she said she wanted to do that as well.
Yeah, that's late. Okay, no offense to Chie. She aims lower there just because that's a kind of a start for her, and honestly, kind of a good position for her.
And it goes further when you play Persona 4 Arena.
Yeah, so why would you, like, make Makoto basically, like, go in such a smaller goal? Like, a police officer, yeah, it is still a commendable job, but I think her talents would have been more fitting for the position that she did want to go for.
Which is
in
police.
the game, a police commissioner.
Come on, that's
Like,
freaking cool.
I mean, it's like, oh my God, it's like Why would you take the most ambitious character in the game and have them shoot lower than what they wanted to? Adaptation.
You know
Yeah,
what
come
this is?
on.
You know what this is? This is change just for the sake of change.
Bull fucking shit. That's like the whole idea of just her. Fuck. The whole point of just making her just basically be just, oh yeah, I'm just gonna become a police officer. It's like, what? Makoto is destined for greater things. We know this. The audience knows this. Come on, she was the honor student of the whole student council of all of Shujin. You could have her be more than that. You can't just have her just go with the, and not even like the whole aspect of like keeping your expectations realistic or some bullshit crap like that. You could just have her basically say, you gotta aim for the stars, girl. You gotta know that you're supposed to head up high like that. And that the game did that perfectly and did that just fine.
And this
is anime just having to lowball this shit just doesn't fly.
And this is especially considering, as Makoto and even Sai have said, they're going to be thrusted into a heavily competitive world, especially for women.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. You have to have her, like, basically aim as a police officer. When you have Sai Nijima basically being the chief prosecutor, not even, like, stating this and for story reasons, how they that she tries to, like, be like her sister, that's, like, essentially being, like, a very step down in compared to her.
A super step down, honestly.
Man,
This is beautiful, and I love it.
Yeah.
Dean got pretty passionate, but then again, I don't blame him. If I wasn't sick, I'd probably go pretty far, too.
Well, then again, Makoto is his favorite character.
Obviously. But that's what I'm trying to say with this episode. It's like, there are basically very little to no differences in this episode. It played it straight, but it played it straight so badly that it just, like, the worst part is...
Ooh, and also, I'm getting episode 8 flashbacks.
And the worst...
Fuck episode 8. This is the worst episode.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
Come on.
And the worst part about this episode, as I've said to Zachary, you can't skip this one. If you do, you miss out on Makoto's story, how sparse that is, and you also miss out on the next target reveal. This is the worst part about this episode. Most clip show episodes you could skip because it's like, oh, it's just a recap. I don't need to pay too much attention to it. No, you gotta watch this one because it reveals the next target. It goes into Makoto's story and it adds a detail at the very beginning of the story that adds more flavor to what's currently going on with Ren's situation.
I mean, to be fair, Nelson, don't you need to watch every episode of Persona 5 since you can't really skip any of them?
Well, yeah, that's kind of a given, but still, you have... there are some episodes in where you could say, yeah, this is kind of filler, so why not? We could just skip over this. But something like this, especially in just how much that they did include, basically story-relevant stuff, not even story, character-relevant stuff.
Yeah,
as bullfuck shit as it was, but you can't skip out on it.
It makes it worse. It makes it worse because now you have to force yourself through a boring slog of a clip show just to get to the important bits. It's like literally eating a rotten banana just to get to the good parts of it.
Yeah.
Ew.
like
the most
not
appropriate
wrong,
comparison.
Yeah, it's like literally opening a banana. Most of it is rotten, so you peel all of it away, throw out the rotten bits, and then you just keep the one small bit of banana that's actually good and eat that.
And we know what that was, Mishima's freakouts.
Yeah, that's the only relevant good part of the episode.
Yeah, everything else is in the fucking trash, and it hurts because you have no choice but to deal with it.
Oh, speaking of things that happen in the episode, one thing I completely forgot about is that when Red's talking to Anna, he's just like, maybe I should get a part-time job.
Well, yeah, that's gonna hint at some other things, and I won't say what, but... But, honestly, when it comes to comparisons and differences, I think we could leave it there, because it's basically nothing.
Yeah, out of all the episodes, this has the least amount of comparisons.
And it's for the worse because of it.
Yeah.
Yep. So now...
Just by being a recap.
So now we find ourselves in the final part. Is this a good episode for fans, and is this a good episode for general watchers? Dean.
Fuck no and no.
Just no. Okay. General watchers, I guess if you okay, if you are fans of Makoto, or at least we're like really like her story and whatnot, you can see your confidant here. It's not as good as it can be, nor is it ever improved from what happens in the game, but it's there. So I guess if you're interested in that, you can go for that.
Though be warned, you will get the shaft.
Yeah, a veiny shaft. But as far as the what is it? Fans, right?
Fans.
Just fuck this episode. Just fuck it.
Cole.
Okay, for fans, Dan. God damn it.
Hey, is your boyfriend here?
No,
Hi,
he's not.
Dan.
For fans, Dean basically said it. Fuck this episode. Don't bother with it. Like, if you want to see what they do with Makoto's confidant, just go in with low expectations. I can't believe that they dropped her from wanting to be a police commissioner to a police officer.
Even if you are fans of Makoto, don't watch it because it'll make you pissed off.
Yeah. For casual watchers, I can't believe I'm saying it. Don't watch this episode either. Just Google Makoto's confidant on YouTube.
That's what I was literally gonna say as well.
You'll have a lot more fun with it, and it's only an hour long anyway.
Yeah, you'll be satisfied with that.
Yeah. Zach.
Fans people that are fans of the game, no. Fuck no. Avoid this at all costs. Avoid it like the plague. Especially if you're a big fan of Makoto like Cole here on. You'll despise this episode. It'll just make you piss off. As for general watchers, no as well. I'm gonna take like Cole's advice and just Google it up on YouTube, and you'll be pretty satisfied. You don't even have to waste your time in this episode. Avoid this episode like the plague.
This is gonna be one of the few times where I'm literally gonna put both into the same category. Avoid this episode. Unfortunately, this episode is a prime example of why you shouldn't do clip shows unless it makes sense for the current context of the story or you're doing something unique with it. This episode doesn't do any of it, and in fact, the only good parts that the episode has are so small and minuscule that they add literally nothing. I would say I'm with Cole. If you want to know about Makoto's confidency, especially to the casual watchers, just look up the confidency on YouTube, or I'm pretty sure someone's going to upload like just the Makoto bits on YouTube as well. So look for that as well. That's the only important part of the episode. Oh, and the ending part. That's it. Other than that, no. This episode can fuck right off.
Well,
Congratulations, episode 4. You are no longer the worst episode in this anime.
Well, no, wait, Nelson. You said anything's important. That point might be kind of mute. If the beginning of the next episode references this.
Like I said, dude, if the next episode references the fucking clip show, it's going to get sullied.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, like, association can also make an episode worse.
No. You're talking about like Sai at the ending. I'm talking about like next episode literally references like the end of like the last episode.
That's what I said. The only important parts are the ending parts of that episode and Makoto's story. That's it. Otherwise, fuck this episode.
Grand total of 7 minutes of a 22-minute episode was important.
Yeah, so fuck it. This episode can go in the trash where it belongs. We're done with it. We're moving on to better things, with the next episode being I Am Alibaba. Like,
God, I hope so. And I swear to God, if listen to me right here, Persona 5 anime, do not fuck up the story arc for the next character, because if you do, there will be hell to pay, and I will set you on fire.
I've already kind of set the thing on fire with Makoto, so I'm kind of wondering about how the smoldering remains will do.
We shall.
I will find a way.
Oh.
I will find a way. You do not fuck with. I'm not. Fuck it. You do not fuck with.
God damn it. Anyways, with that said, what do you think about our thoughts on the episode? Find a comparison that we can talk about, disagree with us, go ahead and leave your comments down below and we'll discuss it in the comments section. Till next time, I'm Keen947, aka Wolfkeen, along with...
I am DM Communist DM.3000.
I am FlOrangey, and I am salty as hell.
And I am Mario Fanboy 15, and I'm enjoying the salt of Makoto fans everywhere.
Wow, and I'm supposed to be
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Zach, remember, Dean's going to BrodyCon, so he's also going to want to kill you.
Yeah, fuck you.
I am afraid. Come at me, bro.
Please send pics of the attack.
Oh my god. Till next time, guys. Take care. And fuck this episode.